part 3. So, like I was mentioning, it's just so many layers, but not back down, not being super preachy. Danny, even in his quest of redemption and guilt, the fact that he co-signed on some stuff that he didn't know that his cousin was doing, some form of counterfeit that he was doing through the hotel. His parents got deported. He was carrying that. He was carrying his brother, who wasn't necessarily too job and goal oriented. Amy's dealing with her own relationship with her husband that seem ideal on the outside. They look like the perfect ideal couple, but the inner workings, both of them are not coming clean with their true feelings for each other. And it just tells you how pop culture is also infiltrated into our lives. That's why it's so relatable, because Georgie, Amy's husband, has an entanglement of some sort. He calls it emotional entanglement, which they've always said women, I think, not that anybody wants to be cheated on, but perhaps prefer a physical connection to somebody than something emotional, because one thing is to just have sex and not form any attachment, but when there's an attachment, and he admits to saying the L word, that he had loved this other person, even though they physically didn't have any kind of interaction or encounters. I think that severed her, that really hurt her, and it kind of put her in this depressive state, because parts of her has suppressed, because there's other things that she likes. Being the alpha female and also breadwinner of that home, she feels very much like this burden of responsibility is on her all the time. And though he's doing his part, he is taking care of their child, she sees him very beta male, and she needs more of like somebody to take the reins and take control, and she doesn't feel that. And although initially she wanted to seek revenge on Danny for that road rage incident, she somehow finds herself in her own entanglement with Paul, Danny's brother, who initially was just fun, but then found herself very involved with him, although it doesn't really lead anything. And I think I've mentioned in other videos, other reviews for other shows that deal with marriage, they've always said that when the partner, or whichever partner, decides to cheat, it's not necessarily also because that person is new and exciting. They're new, but something about that person reminds them of who they used to be. And there are elements in this episode and episodes that you'll see her having finally the agility to let go and embrace some childhood that she didn't technically have. I think we're not too sure or made certain that if Amy's an only child in her family life existence, but there was a lot of burden. We get that burden as just children of immigrants, and you have to succeed. You have to make something of yourself. Your parents didn't come from another country, from like third world countries, poverty-stricken countries, to come to the United States so you could just be sitting there on your laurels. You are to make something of yourself, and that guilt and pressure is very much there. And if you don't comply, you don't give in to your parents, then there are consequences, even to the point where love is conditional as opposed to unconditional. Because there's a therapy session with Amy where the therapist is kind of hitting it on the nail, and she's doing everything to avoid that trauma that she has dragged into her adult life. And unfortunately, sometimes she has these really aggressive outbursts that can be scary, And there are instances in this show that feel very Fatal Attraction, which FYI, if you don't know, I think it's coming to Peacock, I think. they're doing a revamp of Fatal Attraction. So whatever you thought about the 1980s film is coming back in a series format. But we'll see if we go about reviewing that. But nonetheless, they're funny moments, they're outrageous moments. I can't tell you how many times I was like, oh, all the way till the end, y'all. And it's 10 episodes. I can't recommend it enough. The twists and turns, the instances of humanity, the relatability. It's such a great show, and this is what I'm saying. Like, this is what we need. It's still very much an immigrant story, but it is not pounded into your head. There are instances of spirituality not pounded into your head. In fact, they're woven into the story in a very comical sense. So again, y'all, like, we can still make our stories be very vibrant and not it be just about this. It's like this and this, and it can be relatable, that it's relatable across the board. Again, I'm, of Latin culture, and I could relate in a way. I kind of felt represented. Not to mention, yes, y'all see my features, but I can't say necessarily, yes, that I am Asian. There is like Asian persuasion perhaps in my family DNA or background or tree, but nonetheless, man, I still felt represented. I was like, you can relate to the story, and I love stories like that. Please give us more of this. So if there's a second season, y'all, but you need to stream it now. It premiered on April 6th on Netflix. And if you like what you see, give us a like. I can't recommend this show enough. Nerdy Girl approved. If you like what you see, give us a like, give us a share. Leave us a comment down below. Have you seen it yourself? Do you agree with my opinions? We can have a little bit of combo if you would like. If you like my videos, please hit the subscription button and the notification button so you can be alerted of my next DIY haul and review. And do you like the background? Isn't this cute? I did it for Easter, and yeah, it's a little late, but again, look, we have strobing lights. And I can't stress enough the soundtrack. Oh my god. I feel like I'm not 100% sure about the creators and showrunners, but I think they're very much in my age bracket, or at least the actors are, because it's like, yes, it was very giving me 1998, 99, tease, early 2000, 2001, 2002, 2005, tease. I just loved it. And it definitely pulled at the heartstrings. I can't rave about this show. And I was kind of like, what is this whole thing? Because it is on fire on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Beef. You got to see Beef. Now I know. But let's play this out, y'all. With a little Keen. Somewhere only we know. And I swear the way they interwove this song into the story, it took on a whole new meaning. It was so touching. But anyway, yes. And Hooba sang too, if y'all remember Hooba sang. Oh, definitely pulled in my heartstrings. For sure. What happened to King too? I'm not sure. Like, I feel like a lot of these bands, like, where did they go?